Nobody on this street thinks twice about that car. But everyone notices this one. Here's the twist, the man with the plain sedan could buy that SUV in cash 10 times over, and the man with the SUV can barely make this month's payment. You've been reading wealth backwards your entire life. And today, that changes. Welcome back, it's your finance buddy. Let's talk about the money you can't see. Here's a question most people never ask themselves. What if the richest person you know isn't the one who looks rich, but the one you've never suspected at all? Because real wealth in America has a strange habit. The more of it someone actually has, the less of it you can see. Let's make this real with two neighbors. Derek is 34. New truck every 2 years. A watch he brings up in almost every conversation. His feed is a highlight reel. Everyone assumes Derek has it figured out. What nobody sees is what's actually holding that lifestyle up. The truck is financed, the watch is on a payment plan, and his savings account, nearly empty. Now meet the man next door. We'll call him Walt. Walt drove that same car for over a decade. Nobody's ever heard him mention his bank balance once. Walt is quietly worth more than every other house on this street combined. Same street, same starting point. Years ago, wildly different reality, and this isn't rare, it's the pattern. Believe it or not, roughly 1 in every 12 adults in America is now a millionaire. Which means odds are you already know several, you just can't spot them, because they made sure you couldn't. This isn't an accident, it's a decision, and once you understand why they make it, you'll never look at money the same way again. So let's ask the obvious question, why does money get quieter the richer someone gets? There are a few real reasons behind this, and each one is going to hit differently. Reason 1, to someone who's actually building wealth, looking rich is a tax, and they refuse to pay it. The second a new SUV leaves the lot, it starts losing value fast. Compare that to a dependable used car that does the exact same job, getting you from A to B. That gap, about $42,000, invested instead, growing at a normal market average, turns into something wild. Over 30 years, that difference alone could grow past $420,000. So the fancy SUV never really cost $70,000, that it cost the $420,000 it quietly erased from your future. And you don't even need a lump sum for this math to matter. A normal-sized car payment, around $500 a month, invested instead can grow past $700,000 over 3 decades. And the flashy purchase is never just the purchase. It drags a whole chain of extra costs behind it. One loud decision quietly multiplies into a dozen smaller ones. The quiet ones see that whole chain, and they simply refuse to grab the leash. Reason 2, ask yourself who a flashy purchase is really speaking to. Loud spending is a message. It's aimed outward, at other people. Look at me, I made it. And the people who need to send that message the loudest are usually the ones still trying to convince themselves it's true. Real, settled money stops needing an audience. When your bank account genuinely has your back, a stranger's opinion in a parking lot is worth exactly nothing. The person who has to tell you they're doing well usually isn't, the one who never brings it up often is. There's psychology hiding under all this too. The thrill from something new fades astonishingly fast. Within weeks it's just the thing you own, but the payment sticks around for years. Chasing that feeling means needing something bigger and louder every time, just to feel the same spark that it never actually finishes. The quiet ones figure this out early. The rush is temporary, real security never wears off. Quick pause. If any of this is hitting home, drop a comment and tell me honestly, are you more like Derek or more like Walt right now? No judgment, I promise. And if this is opening your eyes even a little, subscribe. We break down exactly how real money works, every single week. Alright, let's keep going, because this next part is where it gets uncomfortable. Reason 3, looking rich paints a target on your back. The moment people believe you have money, everything around you shifts. Friends start doing quiet math about what you owe them. Bold contacts resurface with sudden, urgent business ideas. The quiet ones learn this fast, often the hard way. Discretion doesn't just protect the money, it protects the relationships too. When nobody can tell what you have, the people around you have to like you for something other than your wallet. And here's the reason that takes all the air out of the flex entirely. People notice your things for about 4 seconds, then they forget completely. The audience you're spending all that money to impress isn't even paying attention, and the few who are won't remember by tomorrow. It's a brutal trade when you really sit with it, real money, for applause that barely exists. This isn't even a new idea, by the way. Back in 1899, an economist gave this behavior a name. He called it conspicuous consumption, spending built purely to broadcast status downward, to everyone watching. For most of the last century, that was the whole game, but somewhere along the way, the game quietly changed. Today's wealthy don't broadcast to the crowd anymore, they signal sideways, quietly, to other insiders who already understand. A logo-free coat says nothing to a stranger and everything to someone who knows exactly what it cost. So if it's not the car and it's not the watch, what are the quiet ones actually buying with all that restraint? The real luxury was never the object that it was freedom. A paid-off house, retirement accounts filled to the top, an emergency fund deep enough that losing a job becomes an inconvenience, not a catastrophe. What they're really buying is the power to say no, to a bad boss, a bad deal, a life they never actually chose. Meanwhile, the loud spender is often trapped in the exact job he hates, because he needs every single paycheck just to keep the image running. Let me introduce you to someone real in spirit. We'll call her Priya, a nurse who later opened her own small clinic. She drove the same aging car for 15 years while her co-workers upgraded every couple of seasons. They teased her for it constantly. But every dollar they spent on payments, she quietly funneled into investments and a savings account that actually paid her back. On $50,000 sitting in the right account, that's a difference of over $2,000 a year, working quietly for her, instead of doing almost nothing. She looked like she was falling behind, she was actually building an exit, and that quiet gap was the entire plan. Here's something bigger happening in the background right now. America is in the middle of the largest generational wealth handoff in its history. But study after study shows a huge share of family fortunes disappear within a generation or two of being inherited. Usually because the habits never got passed down, only the money did. The families who actually hold on to it are almost always the quiet ones, where wealth was a habit, not a performance. Now let's flip this whole thing around, because it gets a little uncomfortable here. If the truly wealthy are hiding it, who's doing all the showing off? Very often, it's people who genuinely can't afford it, one missed payment away from the whole image collapsing. The chase to look wealthy is very often the exact thing standing between someone and actually becoming wealthy. And this points straight at the real trap almost everyone falls into: comparison. The second you start measuring your life against the loudest people around you, you start spending money you don't have, on things you don't need, to impress people who aren't even watching. The quiet ones stepped off that track a long time ago. They quit a race the moment they realized it could only be lost. So here's the idea that ties this whole video together. Your wealth was never what you spend, it's what you actually manage to keep and grow. Every flashy purchase you skip isn't a sacrifice, it's a deposit into the version of your life where money stops being a source of stress. Now that you understand the why, let's talk about how you actually spot these people in real life. They drive something practical, and they run it into the ground, on purpose. Money almost never comes up in conversation, and they visibly shrink a little when other people start bragging about theirs. They genuinely ask what things cost, even when the price wouldn't matter to them at all. Their home is comfortable, not impressive, usually a notch below what they could actually afford. Every one of those small habits points to the same quiet decision, made a long time ago: being wealthy would always matter more than seeming wealthy. So let's get practical. How do you actually start living this, starting today? Step 1. Buy the reliable option instead of the impressive one, and let it get old with a little pride, not embarrassment. Step 2. Take the exact difference the flashier version would have cost you, and invest it automatically, every single time. Step 3. Stop letting your savings sit in an account paying you almost nothing that a high-yield account can pay 10 times more for doing absolutely nothing extra. And Step 4. Spend freely on what genuinely matters to you. A trip, a comfortable home, time with people you love. Just make sure impressing a stranger never makes that list. None of this requires you to earn more money right now. It just requires you to redirect the money you already have. Being quiet about money isn't about hiding. It's about finally spending your energy on freedom, instead of on an audience. So think back to that plain sedan sitting quietly in the driveway. He was never falling behind. He was miles ahead. He just never felt the need to announce it to anyone. The richer people actually get, the quieter they tend to become, because they've finally understood that wealth was never about being seen. It was about being free. So tell me honestly, do you know someone like this? A quiet millionaire nobody suspected until you somehow found out the truth. Or maybe this flipped a switch for you about something sitting in your own driveway right now. Tell me your story in the comments. I read every single one. If this video changed how you see the people around you, subscribe. We break down exactly how real wealth works every single week. And if you want to know exactly why almost nobody figures this out until it's way too late, that next video is exactly where we're going. I'll see you there.